Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you all about applying to graduate school. So yes, the time has finally come. I know many of you have probably watched me apply to graduate school and talk about getting into school and not going and talking about my career, even to the point that I'm now a graduate student in a counseling program. And one of the main comments that I get on those videos is, can you talk about how to apply? So this is going to be a multi-part series because there's so much involved, okay? But please feel free to check out my older videos. I'm gonna make a playlist. I'm gonna make a playlist for all things Academy. But otherwise, stay tuned. Today we're gonna talk about how to pick the graduate school that you're applying to. Now in this video, I'm going to assume that you already know what area of psychology you're interested in, right? So maybe it's behavioral, clinical, maybe it's social, maybe you're particularly interested in neuropsychology like me, maybe you're interested in rehabilitation. So I'm going to assume that you have a niche already picked out. If not, I would suggest you watch another video looking at just the different fields of psychology and perhaps determine what you want to do first before you apply to graduate school. But otherwise, what you want to do with that field in mind is use the APA to your advantage. Now, what does that mean? That means I'm going to Google the APA division of whatever I'm interested in, right? So I said neuropsychology because that's what I'm interested in. And because the APA has dozens of divisions for all of these subspecialties, then I can go and find information, resources specifically under that branch of psychology. So this is the Division 40 of APA, which is the division or the Society for Clinical Neuropsychology. I can find information about conferences here. I can join, become a member, but most importantly, I can find a list of every program in the country that is specifically targeted at teaching neuropsychology. So that includes doctoral programs, internships, and postdocs, which is a bonus. But you can see here that this list is very long and it's going to give me a lot of information about these programs. This is very helpful. It's a useful tool. However, I will say as a disclaimer, you don't want to only apply to programs on this website or whatever website you're interested in, right? Because this is in no way saying that these are the only places that you can go to if you want to practice neuropsychology. It's just like it's a specialty. So while it may be useful to definitely apply to at least 1, 2, 3 schools off of this list, you may also find something in a completely different program, in a general program, that will give you just as much training. There may be faculty there that can help you. So just use this as a resource, but it doesn't have to be a limitation at all. Now, let's use somebody interested in maybe social psychology as another example, right? I'm going to Google APA Social Psychology Division. And here you can see as I scroll down, I'm able to find the APA link for the same thing. And guess what? If I scroll through this website, I see just as many resources, and I'm sure I can find another list of all of the graduate programs. Oh, look, there it is, graduate program directory. I can scroll through this. I can find masters, PhDs, postbacs, which is really cool. And I can find all of the programs in social psychology throughout the country. And now just for the hell of it, let's say you're interested in industrial organizational psychology, all right? You can do the same thing, Google the APA division, and cross our fingers because I had never checked before. But look, here it is, Division 14. It exists, guys. I'm going to click on the link and I'm going to look for the resources just like we did in the last website. So look, there's a Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology, which is not only useful for, your career, your networking, but at this point, it can help you find graduate programs. So if we scroll through this link, If we scroll through this link, we can see a list of every single IO program offered throughout the country. You guys, I'm telling you, use this. It works. Again, don't limit yourself to these lists, but definitely use them as a guide. So you found your APA division, you have a list of schools, and you're ready to start looking into some of them. Where do you begin, right? We all know you click on the school link, you're on this page. There are 1,000 different links, there are 1,000 different menu options, okay? You click on one thing, you thought it was gonna give you some information and it's completely different. Now you're on a totally different window, okay? We know it can be very stressful, very annoying, especially if you have a low tolerance for technology like I do, okay? So what you want to do is the following, and I'm going to show you using a program that I've applied to, well, I didn't apply, but the same procedure that I've used myself, all right? So this is the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and I am on their psychology page. I'm going to click on graduate programs because a PhD is a graduate program. Duh. All right. So here are all of the options. We have behavioral neuroscience, lifespan developmental psych, medical clinical psychology. I already know I'm interested in clinical psychology, so I'm going to click on that one. Okay. There's our winner. So now that I'm on this page, I'm able to find out more information about this medical clinical psych program. I can see that they have a focus on health psych, neuropsych, rehabilitation, geropsychology. These are all buzzwords for me. I want to look for these types of words because they coincide with what I'm interested in, okay? So that's what you want to do. Even if a program may have your focus, they may not have the resources you want. This one, though, has gerontology, geriatrics, there's a rehabilitation department, Center for Aging, applied gerontology. Okay, look at all of these opportunities that I have to work with the fields that I want, or the resources, you know, the locations. This institution definitely matches with what I want to do. So now what I want to do is go look at the program faculty. This is really important because even though a program might be a perfect match, there may not be a particular individual who's here for me. And when you apply to PhD programs, it's important to remember it's not about the institutional fit, it's about the individual. You are applying to work with a faculty member, so you need to gear your application towards that fact. Now, basing off of the faculty at this institution, this would be a perfect fit for me. Joseph Ackerson is working with neuropsychology and traumatic brain injury, something I'm interested in. Another person looking at cognitive and behavioral effects of concussion, another one of my interests. Here's somebody looking at cognitive impairment, reversible cognitive impairment, rehabilitation, neuropsychology. I mean, even if we use what I said, just looking for buzzwords, TBI, neuropsychology, stroke, cognitive. These are the types of words that I want to see, and these are the types of faculty that essentially I want to be, right? So when you're looking for a faculty member, you're basically looking to work with somebody who's doing what you want to do once you become a doctor. Now, on the other hand, you may scroll through a few programs and you may find that, you know, a program that you thought you wanted to go to may not be the best fit for you. And this is typically what happens when you go or you pick a program based on just the name, or maybe a friend told you about it, or, you know, when you have a bit less information about the possibilities there. And I don't know why I'm still wearing this. I went to a conference earlier today, so I'm gonna take this off because it looks like I just like finished a race. But yeah, let's talk about what happens and how you can determine if a school is not a good fit for you or not worth your application. So let's look at UNC Chapel Hill, a great program, right? But not a great fit for me, and I'll show you why. When I look at the faculty at this program, I can see that nobody's doing anything that I'm interested in. We have eating disorders, anxiety disorders, marital distress. Yeah, very interesting and very useful, but I can't write an application to convince any of these people that my interest in neuropsychology, cognitive aging, and brain rehabilitation is on track with what they are interested in. So again, when you're doing your application, you want to convince your faculty members, okay, you want to kind of try to get at least 2 people within a program. You want to convince them that they should take you because you guys have the same interests. Okay, so you have found a school that you're interested in, at least one, right? They have their research opportunities, clinical training that you want, and you've just found faculty members that perfectly align with your interests. So now what you want to do is go look at the student admissions and outcome data for this institution. You want to do this for every single school. that you are seriously considering applying to. A lot of people skip this step, and I do not understand how or why, but this is very important because this is going to give you insight to what your what your school is looking for as far as credentials, what type of GPAs get in, what type of GRE scores you want to have. You want to look at their percentage, like what percentage of students, of applicants, are they actually accepting? What percentage of students are actually graduating? What percentage of graduates are actually getting licenses? Who's getting internships? Like, this is very important information, and you need to consider it when applying. So let's take Northwestern University, for example. I'm sitting here on their clinical psych program website, and there are lots of other different links here. Sometimes you'll have to dig through it. It's not always in the same place, but luckily for this website, I can see student admissions, outcomes, and other data right here sitting on the right hand side. So I'm just going to click on that link, and it typically opens up in a PDF. And what's on that PDF is basically all of the information that I just told you guys. So one thing I can check is how long it's going to take me to finish this program. Maybe you are on a time limit. Maybe you want to have kids. Maybe you have kids and you're trying to get back to them. Maybe you're ready to get married. Maybe you have to move. If you're on a time limit and you're saying, okay, I need a program that's going to take me 5 years, it looks like this program trends toward taking about 6. That might be a problem for you. More useful information you can typically find on these is information about your tuition, your stipend, and any other types of fees. And we can see here that this psychology program is 100% free, and you get a $32,000 stipend just for being in the program. This is why I am interested in clinical psych programs, by the way. But you can see, we scroll through, we find even more information. And arguably, we've come to the most important part here, which is the admissions data. Again, this is very important because this is going to tell you your shot at getting into this school. So we all know that PhD programs are not cheap to apply to. They can range from $50 to $95 to even $125. You want to make sure that if you're applying to a school, you have a fair shot of getting in. So this program looks to be extremely competitive. I like to look at the last 3 years and see if there are any trends. So here we can see that the number of applicants is growing. So we went from having 285 in 2016 to having 323 in 2017. And it also looks like the number of students that they admit is going down. So this is a very, very competitive program. They went from accepting 12 students to only accepting 5. So something that you want to consider when you apply is, okay, what do these verbal scores look like? What are these quantitative? What is their writing with the GPAs? And we can see that it's typically very high scores, 90th percentile, 80th percentile, 78th. So I would say, okay, I want to make sure I at least have a 70th percentile to apply to this school. So let's say that after reviewing this data, you're feeling really good, you feel competitive, your scores look like they're mean scores, and you're ready to apply. Or let's say even you are looking at the data and you're like, ooh, those quantitative scores are really high. I didn't do that well. I test bad on quantitative, or my writing was really bad. I need a lot of time to write, or, maybe in undergrad, I was goofing around a lot. My GPA isn't that high. But I have credentials in these other areas. Maybe I have research, maybe I have work experience. I have this experience here that could compensate for that. Here's what you want to do either way. Send the faculty member of interest an email. Introduce yourself to them. Say, hi, my name is such and such, and I'm going to apply to this program in fall of 20 whatever. I'm very interested in working with you. I love what you're doing in this particular lab. I love what you're doing in this particular area, and I want to know if you're accepting students. I can send you my CV if you want to look it over. Thank you for your time. And this may seem risky, but everybody's doing it. And not only does this let you know if you're wasting your time or not applying, it also puts your name on this particular faculty member's radar. The worst that will happen is they will ignore you. The best thing that can happen is they can say, yeah, send me your CV. I'm accepting students. Or they can even say, I'm very interested. I love your CV. Please apply. I've had all of those options happen before. Now, the very last thing that you want to do, and possibly the most important, is stay organized. Okay, so you have all of this information. It doesn't mean anything if you're just like trying to keep it in the back of your head and then you end up forgetting by the time you look at the third school. Keep a Google document, keep a spreadsheet, keep an email draft, okay, whatever it takes. Keep it and record all of the information that you find on these websites for the school, so you can easily look it over when it's time to consider, okay, where am I applying? You want to do the exact same thing once you actually start applying, but that's a different video. It'll come later in the series. So here is a list that I made in 2016 that I can show you for an example. I have the name of the school, obviously, the type of program that it is, the ranking, which I don't care about anymore. I cared back then, but not now. Financial aid information, GRE, GPA, student reviews, and then the institutions and like the centers, you know what I mean, the resources that that particular location has that I'm trying to work with. And you can see now when it comes to this page, how going through all of that information on those websites, how knowing what to search for is helpful, because instead of having to click through all of that every time you have a question, I can now just come to this sheet and say, oh yeah, I need this much money to go here. Or, oh yeah, this program doesn't give as much money, so I don't want to apply here because, you know, clinical psych programs should be free. So with all of this being said, I hope this was a very helpful video for those of you who are looking to apply to PhD programs. I'm trying to kick these out so that people who are looking to apply this year can have this help kind of along the process. Please be patient with me. I will do another video soon, and it will be probably about personal statements. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more content. Share this video. Follow me on social media, 38 Karat Gold. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.